Listen up, home buyers. By the end of this video, I'm gonna make sure you know everything that needs to know about real estate contracts. There are a lot of things that go into a purchase agreement, so I'm gonna try to break them down as much as I can. First thing, the easiest thing, purchase price. Pretty self-explanatory. It's what you're willing to pay for the home. So next is gonna be earnest money. Earnest money is a good faith deposit that you're giving to the seller. Well, more or less the seller's brokerage is gonna be holding it in escrow to say that we are serious about buying your home. This can be any number. Traditionally, I see it around 1 to 3% of the purchase price. It could be higher in, say, a multiple offer situation, and sometimes it's lower. And then there's close date. It's when you wanna move into the home, when you wanna have those keys. And as a seller, they want to close a home as fast as possible. So the quicker you do that close, the more likely you are to win that offer. And then there's financing. How do you want to pay for this home? Will it be a mortgage or will it be cash? There's a few contingencies built into this contract already. One will be inspection, the other will be appraisal, and the last one will be mortgage contingency. And I'll explain all of those. When it comes to the inspection contingency, what you're really saying is I'm not gonna move forward with this home until I get it professionally inspected. So you have an opportunity to kind of look at some of the things that you might have missed when you went through the first time. And if you're interested about learning more about inspections, I actually have another video that I go through inspections in a real house with a real inspector. It should be an interesting one. If you're financing this home with a mortgage, there's an appraisal and a mortgage contingency. So those two things will help protect you as a buyer. So the appraisal is gonna be an opportunity for the bank to see, is this home worth the purchase price? And also with mortgage contingency, you're making sure that you can actually afford the home before they move forward. So you're protected there. If you're buying with cash, it's a little bit different. With cash, there is no mortgage company, so there's no appraiser and there's no mortgage contingency. This is why sellers really like cash. There are also 3 contingencies that come up a lot, especially in multiple offers, and I'll go over them now. One is as is. This is probably the most common contingency of them all. As is probably the most popular one that I see. It doesn't mean you're taking the home as is, like too bad, you can't do an inspection. You still get to do an inspection, and you should, to get an opportunity to see what it is you're buying. But what as is saying, it's kind of like a gentleman's agreement, saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're gonna do an inspection, but we're not gonna ask for any credits. A seller understands that inspection is kind of like a second negotiation, and they feel a lot better when someone goes as is, because the number that you put in as a purchase price, they're more likely to get it. Another popular one is appraisal gaps. So, in multiple offers, the thing that tends to win more likely than not is always gonna be more money. The risk with more money is that if you're buying something more than the property is worth or what the bank thinks it's worth, then there's gonna be a gap in the appraisal. And as a buyer, to make the seller feel better, you're saying if this house is $500,000 and I bid it at $550,000, then I'm gonna cover the $50,000 gap that could be a possibility if it appraises for less. One that I see a lot is leaseback, also known as rentback, also known as post-closing possession. See, how this works is sometimes the seller isn't actually ready to move out in that 30 to 45 days. They might need a little bit more time to transition themselves and their family to their new place, but they actually still want to close quicker. So how this works is you're buying the home and you're closing within a 30 to 45 days, but you're leasing the property back to them for the amount of time that they need. This makes the seller feel very comfortable that the home will close quickly, and it makes you feel comfortable that you secured the home.